Happy Hour.
Caroline, are you ready for this?
This is your newest guilty pleasure.
It's the bloodiest part of your week.
Did we say something about it also being happy hour?
Show did.
Because we about to be sipping on some murder. Bloody happy hour.
Hey y'all, we're here.
Hey everybody. We're doing techno today. Is that
okay.
techno?
Sure.
Oh. This is Bloody Happy Hour.
I'm April.
I'm Caroline.
And this is...
Your Bloody Happy Hour.
We drinking.
We are having beverages. We are not sober. I mean, we are. And we're not.
Oh my gosh, I just noticed you had all these drinks. I just put a line of shots out.
I did not know what you're going to say after I put a line. Because did you know that my ex-husband overdosed on cocaine? So anytime you say a line that was...
You have a little PTSD.
A little kid.
But you were taken aback, right?
It's like a bruh moment.
Bruh.
Oh. You want to know what that means?
Well, yeah. Can you...
By the way, this episode, anytime... Okay. My sister, Catherine, who I went to Vegas with.
Yeah.
She introduced me to this YouTube channel.
Okay.
So it's whatever. She's like obsessed with it. So she kept making me watch all these videos. And then, of course, I was like, okay, well, I'm always going to watch these videos now because they're really entertaining. So anyways, they do this thing where they have different slang terms that they introduce. And I know we talked about previously that maybe we should have a word.
A drinking game?
A drinking game.
I live my life by drinking games.
I'm turning it into a drinking game.
Hey,
So anytime,
we may be old, but we still act like we're 17.
Yeah, Kings or what? Did you ever play that game?
Circle of Death.
Circle of Death. Yes, Ashley Barrett.
What's the bus one?
That's not her name anymore. Bus? I don't know the bus one. But basically, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna give a word, and anytime April or I use this word in the story, you have to drink.
We all have to drink.
/ we all have to drink, but you mainly it's you. And this,
but they can drink anything they want. Like,
well, yeah.
If you're at happy hour with us, we would make you drink alcohol.
Yeah.
Unless you're our designated driver, then
or pregnant.
We make you drink water.
Yeah.
Or or pregnant, of course.
Yeah. So this week's word, I should do this should be a thing. Like every week I'll do a word.
Can we remember? We'll see.
Never.
We'll see how that goes.
I definitely don't remember. Okay, this one is bruh moment. BRUH. Bruh.
Oh, okay.
Like, what's up, bruh? So bruh moment is this is Urban Dictionary's description. The pure awestruck experience by a ridiculously silly action that usually sparks a gasp or a bruh. Hence the name. Like, Billy just had a bruh moment as his friend Josh proceeds to do a backflip and then eat his own ass. Man, let's roll
you
back.
didn't pre-read this before. Listen,
but if it's like a, bruh.
It's when you're shocked at something.
Yeah, you're shocked.
Some people must say, dude.
Yeah, but no, you have to say bruh. The most epic phrase used.
So bruh is the key word. You have to drink every time you hear bruh.
I'm going to take a picture of all the things that April set out as a little, I don't know what she's trying to do over here. She got Malibu, Jim Beam, Jose Cuervo, and Jim Beam.
And then I'm drinking Grey Goose with
Eddie, and we got all the things. And we got water, we got some chips.
We're just capping, though. We don't drink all this.
No, we want to tell you.
So listen, here's my story. It is episode 1 of Rae Carruth. Of the Killer Athletes. I have an NFL football player today. And I just scooped myself. His name is Rae Carruth.
Just in time for football season to get started. Actually, we need to finish this because preseason starts right now. So
today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cowboys.
My nephew Isaiah is like, don't talk to me.
Yeah,
Cowboys
I can't talk about it. I got my fantasy football draft coming up. I'm fucking excited. I'm a dude. I might have a penis.
You should have a penis.
I think I
Okay,
might.
so I'm going to play something for you guys, and it is a 911 call. So tune in really quick.
911. I've been shot. You've been shot? Where are you at, man? I'm 8 months pregnant.
How'd this happen?
I was following my baby's daddy, Rae Carruth, the football player.
Where's he
He was
at?
in the car in front of me, and he slowed down, and somebody pulled up beside me and did this.
And then where'd he go?
He just left. I think he did it. I don't know what to think.
All right, so that phone call happened on November 16th, 1991. Cherica was the person who made the 911 calls, the voice that you heard. Her vehicle was ambushed in a drive-by shooting. 5 bullets were shot into her car, and 4 of those 5 bullets hit her.
Oh.
At that time, she was 8 months pregnant. Her mom, Sandra, actually referred to her as a fighter. And that's exactly what she did for the next 28 days. She fought and fought and fought for her life. She tried to stay alive. But she ultimately lost her life on December 14th. And this is still 99. So her son, though, that she was pregnant with, Chancellor Lee, lived. But because of the trauma that she had while she was pregnant, he suffered severe brain damage, which would result in Chancellor being diagnosed with cerebral palsy, intellectual disabilities, and speech impairments.
Did you know I have a sister with cerebral palsy?
Do you really?
Yes.
It's pretty common.
I mean, she died when I was like, she was like 12 and I was like 8. You didn't know that?
Mm-mm.
She was born with it.
Yeah, everybody is. I mean, if you have it, you're born with it.
She was the firstborn.
Okay. Oh, wow. I didn't know that. We'll have to talk about that.
Okay.
Okay. So my thing is, what led up to the night? To that night? Like, how did we get here? And then this is a podcast about Rae Carruth. Did he have anything to do with this? And if he did, what was the motive? Right? Those are like the questions, because I started off with this 911 call and I was like, what in the hell? So let me tell you a little bit about Rae, and let me tell you a little bit about Cherica. And this is great. I have to tell you how Cherica got her name, because you know, Black folks, like, we do a little extra
like
stuff
La
with
Cherica
some names.
or
Well, yes, do something a little extra with our names. So her mom, Chandra, which you'll grow to love her, she loved the singer Cher, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. And then, so she was like, oh, I love the name Cher. I love the singer. I love the name, but I don't know if I want to name my kid. She was like pregnant young, but she was excited to have a kid, to have her kid. She also liked the name Eureka, which was a popular vacuum back in the day.
Oh,
Yeah, a vacuum cleaner.
Yeah.
And then she was like, oh, I like Eureka, but I don't want my kid to be named after, like, be associated with, like, dirt and, like, cleaning dirt. So instead, she combined them.
Oh,
So she got
Cher.
Cherica.
Where did you even find that? Like, how did you find that? Because that's good.
It is. I love it.
That's great info.
Some people.
Let me just tell you, that is like such good info that who would even ever know that?
No.
I don't know if it's in like
Shonda
that shit's
told
like
us.
in books.
No.
Which I ain't reading no more books.
No. So, no, I actually listened. Scott Failer, who was a writer for the Charlotte Observer, he did this 6-part series podcast on Rae Carruth.
Oh, yeah.
And it was so amazing. So if you like this story and want to hear more, but it had like interviews and everything with all these people. Yeah. So this was like, she was going back and telling where Cher came about. So Cherica was born in 1975 in Kings Mountain, South Carolina. She was everybody described her as beautiful, loving, and determined. She was raised by her mom, Chandra, but she also had her grandparents, because remember, mom was real young. So she had 3 parents, and dad was in the picture, kind of like in and out. She graduated high school, and she went to Winston-Salem State, and that's a college there in North Carolina, or South Carolina. And then she worked in real estate. But she decided, like, college is not for me, so I'm just gonna work for right now. Mm-hmm. Her mom said that she says Cherica was beautiful. Like, she was on the level of Beyonce and Halle Berry. Oh, and if y'all go to our Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, look at her. She's beautiful. So her mom is not just biased. So let me tell you about Rae Lamar Wiggins. That was his born name. He was born in 1975 in Sacramento, California. And he later changed his name to Rae Carruth because his stepdad's last name was Carruth and maybe adopted him or something. He wanted like the family name. So he kind of grew up in the hood. There's a lot of crime around him. And as a result, like his mama was like, she always had her finger out like this. Like she was just making she didn't want him to get out of line. She didn't want him to get involved like in the street crime that was going on. And it worked because he didn't. Like he was a good kid. He did his school. He had his academics on point. He was a great athlete. He didn't engage in smoking, drinking, or doing drugs. He just did what he was supposed to do. Like, he was a good kid, like, ideal kid. He was also, like, real focused and real determined. So he thought, I'm going to work hard at this football thing because I want to be famous one day. So that's what he did. Like, he played football, and he played football good, and he earned a scholarship. But it was hard because he didn't pass the eyeball test.
Oh, he didn't look good. He didn't look very athletic.
He looked very athletic. He was short. Like, football team, he was 5'10", and when you got somebody that's bigger and taller, sometimes you get passed over. But this bruh was fast.
Take a drink.
He was fast. So he got a scholarship to the University of Colorado in Boulder. Have you ever been there?
Maybe. I don't know. I've been skiing a few times, so.
But you don't know if it's in Boulder.
No.
Well,
I don't think I have.
That's where he went, and he ended up having an amazing college career.
Oh.
Like, football career. And it was so amazing that he got drafted into the NFL in 1997, and he signed a 4-year deal. With the Carolina Panthers. This is a $3.7 million contract. Like, these days, that's nothing.
Yeah.
But back then, like, that was a lot.
Yeah.
And he had a sign-on bonus. So never sign a contract and not make them give you a sign-on bonus, because that's the only thing that's guaranteed. So he got $1.5 million, like, in the beginning, sign-on bonus. And then every game after that, he got $37,000 some odd dollars.
I wish I had that.
I mean, I wish I was a wide receiver.
I might try to be a wide receiver.
You could. You're fast.
You know what?
You have long arms.
Since I cut my toes off, now that I've learned about how I can run faster, I was like, I think I should be a wide receiver. And you can't discriminate because, like, I could be they, them, like a situation. So I could be like
They better not cut you out.
No.
Okay, so he's like living his best life right now. He's in the NFL, does all the things. But like most young people and most athletes, he's not very great with his money. He's like, but he's given it to, like, he's given a lot to his family. Okay, so that's good, right?
Yeah.
But he's also like doing these investment deals that like don't pan out. So he's losing money on these like bullshit investments. And then he's doing what a lot of athletes do, and he's buying like 40,000 cars.
Yeah. Well.
And he's also paying child support Ask me how
or
much.
Is he? Or is he?
He is for this kid.
Oh, how much?
$3,000
A month?
A month. So he got his high school girlfriend
So he
pregnant.
so he has one kid?
Yes.
Okay.
He has one kid that he had like before he even went to NFL.
Yeah.
Before he went to college, he had her in high school. Had this kid in high school. He wasn't really a part of this kid's life because he was focused. And so when baby mama saw that deal, she was like, "Oh, we're going to court.
Well, yeah.
Run me my money."
Yeah. You get it, girl.
And you know what? She should have, because it costs a lot to raise a kid.
Sure
and
does.
guess
I
what?
don't even have a kid, I know.
It costs a lot, and daddy should be helping. Well, Rae did not like the fact that he had to pay child support. And so he fought the case, but he ended up having to pay for it. Like, how you going to get $1.5 million and not want to pay $3,000
for your children?
Yeah, for your kid that you hadn't done anything for this whole time.
No.
I can soapbox about that.
Go ahead.
Daddies out there, if you're not with your baby mama and you're not living with your kid and raising your kid, pay that shit. That's like the least you can do.
The least. Clothes, food.
It's
going
very
and
much a
entertaining
minimum.
them and doing shit. Like
Whatever you
sport, like whatever.
Whatever you think that you're paying, it's probably a bare minimum. So get off the gas. Bruh.
I'm going to clap
Why
every
am I
time.
the only one drinking? Y'all
Because
drink.
I was clapping, I'm drinking.
Okay.
How you know they're not drinking?
Drink, y'all. Whatever you're swallowing right now, take another drink.
Oh, no.
So, okay, so I'm off my, so he's paying the child support. And so right about now, he's just young. He's good looking. Like, if you look at his pictures, like, he's good looking. So he's young, he's good looking. Women love him. But he's still not doing a whole lot. And he still don't have a lot of friends. So Rae and Cherica end up meeting at a pool party. They talked a little bit, and they kind of were a little bit in sync, and they got along. So they ended up leaving together. They hung out on and off afterwards, but they left together after that pool party. And Shonda Adams, Cherica's mom, said for some reason she took Rae to her dad's house to meet her dad. Like, she just met Rae. She took Rae to her dad's house. And that's weird because, or you think it's weird because daddies usually don't want to have anything to do with that right off the bat, you know? Yeah. But I had to think, like, if I was at a pool party and I met Michael Irvin, you know what? Even if we're going to go do the dirty, let's stop by my daddy's house real quick. Let my daddy get your autograph. Let's take some pictures. So it might have been like a starstruck type thing. So they left and they met her daddy, right? And then they kind of hit it off a little bit and hung out, you know, for a little bit afterwards. But he would always go dry because he had other women. And Cherica just really liked him, but she wasn't too thirsty. So when he was kind of like going dormant, she moved to Atlanta. And for some reason
Hotlanta.
I
know some people in Hotlanta.
That pissed Rae off. That pissed Rae off. And Rae was like, I need to be able to get a hold of you, because back then they only had beepers. So Rae was like, take this cell phone because I want to be able to get a hold of you. So Cherica thought that was a big deal. It was a big deal to her family. Like, Rae Carruth bought her a cell phone. Oh, yeah. This NFL player. And so she had a little bit of hope that relationship was going to go somewhere. Yeah. In the meantime, it kind of went dormant again. And she got a job at a strip club. She was a dancer. Okay. And Mama Shonda, she's very Christian. And so she wasn't really happy about it because she was like, back then, strip clubs were associated with prostitution. Okay. And so, but she was like, but I knew my daughter and I knew her character and I knew this wasn't going to be it. Yeah. So they, and plus Cherica had a plan. She was like, hey, guess what? I'm making this good money because big ballers went in there. And remember, Cherica looks like Halle Berry and Beyonce mixed together. So you know she's making some good money. Yeah, she looks good. So she was putting these big deposits in, and she saved up enough money to buy her condo. And so that's a pretty good deal. Like, she was a little dedicated.
She is.
She even took in this other stripper who had a son, and her mom helped raise the son because the stripper was kind of young and like on drugs. She got this stripper sober. So like some good things came out of it.
Yeah.
So what happened is Rae ran into Cherica at the strip club, and he was pissed again that she was dancing. And that sparked up something else. And so by April, they were dating on and off again. And by April of 1999, Cherica was pregnant. Mm-hmm. And she was elated.
So
Rae?
She was excited.
She was excited. Rae
was a baby.
Not so much.
Oh, he was real mad about it.
Yes. He was not happy.
Well, I'm sorry, Rae, but it was
your
kind of your fault. So you had to put the P in the V, and you had to shoot the things in the thing.
You knew what to do.
So
you knew what you were supposed to do.
I'm sorry. Bye.
So when she told Rae about this, Rae wasn't happy. And she learned that in 1997, right after he got drafted, he got a girl named Amber Turner pregnant. But he convinced Amber, like later on we'll know that he threatened Amber to terminate the pregnancy.
Oh my gosh.
And so that's what he was trying to
all these girls, you're going to have to just get over it. I'm a bra moment.
Yeah.
Oh.
So he tried to get her to have a termination, and she didn't want to. But she didn't judge him for that past termination because she's, been through some things in her life too. And she came to a point to where she felt she needed to have a termination. And so she was like, but I want this baby. Like, I'm ready to be a mom. I want my family. Like, I want a family. So she was excited. Rae wasn't. On Mother's Day, she took her mom out to dinner, and she told her the news of the pregnancy. And so Miss Shonda was shocked but excited. Cherica was excited, and Cherica's maternal instincts started kicking in. She bought these headphones, and she would play like baby Mozart and Beethoven for the baby because supposedly it makes them smarter.
For the baby.
And her and her mom hung out together every day after Mother's Day. They saw each other every day. They were already close, and they were even closer. So Rae, meanwhile, is like in the locker room, and he is hearing it from some of his teammates. Oh, you got a stripper pregnant. You know how like a locker room talk. And it was getting to him. But he was never really, really close to him to kind of really tell him everything that's going on.
Oh, his teammates?
Yeah. Oh. He did not have like friends. Or friends that we would think he would be friends with. He actually had 3 friends, but these friends had a bad record. He had 3 friends that had records. One of them's name was Michael Kennedy. We need to remember his name. Okay. He was 23 years old, and he made his money selling crack and cocaine.
Oh, that's promising.
He met Michael at a car accessory shop. Because remember, he had all these cars, and he put rims on it and do all these things. So Michael admired his car. That's how he met each other. Well, Michael Kennedy was with Stanley Abraham, and they rapped together.
Like rapped as in rapped records, or like rapped cars?
They rapped, singing, rapped records. Yeah. And so they had like these, they had a little career that they thought maybe eventually Rae would like fund them, like their career, like give them like a lift off to their career. Mm-hmm. And then he had another friend named Van Brett Watkins.
Ooh, I know about that guy.
Van Brett was a manager at a strip club, but he was also a hitman. So I'm going to refer to him as Hitman Watkins because we're going to hear a lot from him. So Brett had already did some time, and he was coming out of jail, and he needed some money. So in the beginning, he started doing odd jobs for Rae. And so he would like go to his house. He would wash and detail his cars. Rae would pay him. And that's where kind of their friendship was for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Then Rae called up Watkins and he says, hey, can you come to a U-Haul parking lot and meet me? That right there sounds sketchy.
If you called me and you were like, can you meet me at a U-Haul parking lot? I'd be like,
no, and I'm calling the police. How much would it take to beat up a girl and have her abort her baby? Unquote. So obviously he wanted Hitman Brett to like beat up Cherica and make her miscarry. And Hitman Watkins says, wait, I don't beat up girls. I kill people.
Oh, shit.
So Rae was like, oh, okay, well, how much do you charge? So by the end of the conversation, they agreed on $6,000. That is no money for a life. And
for sure hope I would be worth more than $6,000.
$6,000. And so they agreed on half now.
Can you at least make it an even number, like 10?
I don't.
I mean, I don't know. That's just real terrible anyways,
Yeah.
but the whole, yeah.
But still, no. So $3,000 now and $3,000 when it's done. So they went to the ATM, but he was only able to get $300 out. And so that was like the deposit of the deposit.
Oh,
so
my gosh.
Hitman Watkins said that he started stalking Cherica from that moment on. He found out where she worked, what car she drove, where she lived, where she parked. Like he took it, I guess, like he was doing his job as a hitman, right?
Yeah, I mean.
But listen, months went by. Like he hesitated. He thought he had the job planned, but he didn't know how to have the getaway part planned.
Yeah.
So he wasn't a very good hitman.
No.
His plan wasn't fully developed, so he never executed it. And so 5 months go by. So Cherica's getting bigger and she's getting more excited. And she's being a nanny and she's talking about all these things. And I'm sure she's asking Rae, just wondering like what's going to go on with them because she had so much hope that maybe they would have a family. Well, Rae grew impatient, and during these 5 months, he called Hitman 150 times. And on these phone calls, he was trying to set up scenarios of when Watkins can come and kill her. So he was like, she has Lamar's class on this day to this day. You can do it then. Or I can take her out to eat and we can park by a dumpster and you can kill her then. And like, he was like, or it can be this, or it can be this, or it can be this, because he just wanted it to happen, but Brett never did it. So he was growing more and more and more aggravated. And what is crazy is Cherica, just started journaling and writing in her diary, and she was very detailed. Mm-hmm. So her mama was DTF.
Oh,
because she because she like cross-referenced the journal and what like the testimonies were, and like they all like linked up. So Cherica wrote in her journal, Rae took me out to eat, and for some reason he went in the restaurant and left me in the car for so long, parked by this dumpster. Well, he was waiting on Watkins to come and kill her, but never did. So by November, according to her diary, she was so excited. And according to her mom, she was so excited because she and Rae were going to actually have a real date.
Oh, I thought you were going to say a baby.
No, a real date. And I guess Rae had been trying to get closer. Trying to get closer. So he called her up and said, we're going to go on a date. We're going to go to the movies and we're going to see one of my favorites.
Oh, no.
Bone Collector with Denzel Washington and Angelina Jolie. Mm-hmm. Little did Cherica know what this date night that she was looking forward to would turn into. So Rae and Cherica have a date. It's November 16th. And remember I told you she sees her mom every day?
Every day?
She has seen her mom every day since Mother's Day.
Okay.
But her mom said that she didn't see her on this day because Cherica was so excited about this date. She wanted everything to be perfect. She needed to get her clothes, her shoes, get her hair done because they were going on an actual date. In Cherica's mind, Rae's trying to do right.
Yeah.
Little does she know. So she shows up at Rae's house and she's immediately discouraged because Rae says, like, has a house full of people. And then he's on the phone the whole time in another room. So she called her mom up and she was like, Mom, I just wasted my time. I don't know why I'm here. He's not even ready to go. He's on the phone with some, in there on the phone is probably talking to another girl. So Mama Shonda was like, hey, don't worry about it. Get out. Like, we don't
play that.
Don't be bad. Yeah. Don't be bad. You got to go to work anyway. So just leave. Well, right when Mom was telling her that, Rae comes in and says, okay, we're ready. Let's go. We're going to go. We're going to go. Mm-hmm. So Cherica goes because she has so much hope, right? So they go and they watch the movie. While they're at the movie, Rae's 3 friends, Kennedy, Abraham, and Hitman Watkins, are all well, let me back up.
Okay.
When she's getting ready for the date, Rae is getting ready for what's going to happen after the date. Oh. So he calls over Kennedy and he asks Kennedy for a gun. Mm-hmm. He gives Kennedy money. Kennedy says, bet, I'll go get you a gun. He says, can my friend use your car? Talking about Hitman Watkins. Mm-hmm. Sure, I'll bring this one. It is inconspicuous. It was a gold Maxima.
Hi, I'm Hank. You might remember me from a show called King of the Hill. Check out a King of the Hill rewatch podcast. These boys ain't right, but they are funny. Find the podcast anywhere you get your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com. I tell you what.
And then Abraham is like, he has no idea what's going on. He's the innocent one in this. He's just like going with his friend to an NFL player's house. So he's like doing a tour. He's starstruck. He's like Snapchatting. I mean, it's 99, so it's not Snapchatting, but he's calling everybody. Like
people are Snapchatting still.
At 99 and 99, there's no damn Snapchatting. Oh, 1999.
Oh, I thought you were saying like he was Snapchatting.
He was, but this was 1990. Like he was touring the NFL player's house.
The version of Snapchatting back then.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I see.
What we would be doing now would be like Snapchatting or like doing our stories. Yeah, like he was doing that because he was starstruck. And so he heard none of this conversation about the plan for tonight.
Yeah.
So plan was made. Kennedy was going to buy the gun. He was going to drive the car. Hitman was going to do the shooting. And Abraham was just like in the middle, just hanging out in his head. So they go to the movies and they watch the movie. Meanwhile, the 3 amigos, Kennedy, Hitman, and whatever his name is, Abraham, they're riding around and they're listening to the music and they're just kind of getting ready, getting ready for the cue. They stop at a store, and Hitman goes in and gets some beer, and Kennedy tells his best friend, Abraham, we're about to do a job that Rae paid Hitman to do. We're going to kill his baby's mama because he don't want to have to pay child support for this kid.
I mean, she's pregnant. A great reason.
It is so ridiculous.
What a great reason.
Like, I can't even.
No.
I can't even. I feel like, okay, can you sign over your rights?
No.
Like, is there other ways out of it?
No, there's no other way. There's no other way.
Pay it. You're a millionaire. But, at this time, he can't because his money's going down and his career isn't that great. Like, he keeps getting injured. He's not getting playing time. He's not getting stats. So he don't even know if he's going to be able to, like, keep getting re-signed. So he's panicking. Plus, he was pissed off still about paying the other child support money. So he sure ain't going to pay some new child support money.
Maybe you should do something about it.
Well, he did.
Like use a condom.
Yes, that would be the logical thing. So Abraham is pissed because he's like, why in the hell did you bring me in on this? Why am I here? I want to get out. But he couldn't panic because Hitman's this big ass guy, and he would be retaliated against, like if he just like left and fled. So he just sat in the front seat, just quiet. Rae called Hitman when they left the movies. And he said, I'm about to go with her to her house, and I'm going to be in my white Expedition. She's going to be in her black BMW. Find us on Rae Road, and this is when it needs to go down. So that's what happened. He told Cherica that, because Cherica calls her mama for everything.
Yeah.
So she's on her way home, and she's like, yeah, he's going to stay, because he's got an appointment, and my house is closer, so he's just going to come back to my house, right? Well, then Rae's in the front, Cherica's second, and Rae stops. Like, they go over this hill, and he just stops in the middle of the road. So Cherica's behind him, and so she stops too. And then here comes the gold Nissan Maxima, so she's kind of trapped. He comes around, and 5 bullets enter Cherica's car. 4 of those 5 hit Cherica.
Oh my God. And she's 8 months pregnant.
She's 8 months pregnant. According to Watkins, he rolled down the window to make sure he was dead, and he said he heard her gurgling on her own blood. And he looked up at where Rae was in the car, and Rae was smiling, relieved that it was done. This is Watkins' testimony.
Oh my gosh. Crazy is as crazy does. The Life of a Serial Killer by John H. Mudgett is a tensely clever first-person psychological thriller that deep dives into the world of an experienced serial killer. The ebook is available for purchase via Amazon and is free for Kindle Unlimited readers. It is a graphic tale, as the cover suggests. The fictional protagonist, John Goodman, is an amalgam of human predation and darkness, carefully stitched from the ragged shreds of multiple serial killers and mass murderers' lives. But though he is fictional, the circumstances of Goodman's dark life are firmly rooted in historical characters and events.
Crazy is as crazy does begins in 1955 and follows John as he evolves from a timid and disorganized criminal into a powerful mastermind of deception and intimidation. The story takes readers on a journey through a 75-year-old killer's life, ending shortly after the capture of the Golden State Killer in 2018. But like all unreliable narrators, readers are forced to grapple with an important question. Can they accurately separate fact from Goodman's twisted fiction? Readers quickly discover that a real horror unfolding is twofold: the murderous activities described by Goodman himself and the twisted transformations of those around him, culminating in a shocking high-stakes ending.
Did he know that she found a phone?
Watkins knew she was dead. So they all sped off. Little did they know Cherica was a fighter. I'm going to play this call one more time because now it makes more sense in the contents.
911. I've been shot.
You've been shot. Where are you at, man?
I'm 8 months pregnant.
How'd this happen?
I was following my baby's daddy, Rae Carruth, a football player.
Where's he
He
at?
was in the car in front of me, and he slowed down, and somebody pulled up beside me and did this.
And then where'd he go?
He just left. I think he did it. I don't know what to think.
What I love is that she was shot 4 times, but she was still with it enough.
Was she actually shot? Like, did it hit? They all hit her?
4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 hit her.
Oh my gosh! And then she
she had the cell phone that Rae bought her. Remember when she moved to Atlanta? So she used the cell phone that he gave her, call 911, but she was with it enough to say all these things.
Yeah.
I was like my baby's daddy. I was following him. And so this phone call was actually 12 minutes long. And so you can go and you can find the full phone call if you wanted to. But she basically implicates Rae Carruth multiple times in there. Mm-hmm. And she's describing repeatedly where she is, like on this road, so that police can find her. And there's one point in the phone call where the 911 caller was like, "What is that noise?" And she says, "That's me. I'm honking my horn. I'm trying to bring attention to myself." So can you imagine being shot 4 times, with it enough to call 911 and say who possibly could have shot you, and then like be alert enough to honk the horn and like tell them all these things. So when the police found her, they found her because she was honking her horn and bringing attention to herself. She was rushed to the hospital, and of course she had to have emergency surgery, an emergency C-section, and they removed the bullets. Meanwhile, Shonda got a call, Mama Shonda, that her daughter was in the hospital in the emergency room, had to have surgery. So she panicked. Can you imagine? I mean, just getting that phone call in the middle of the night. So she panicked, went to the hospital, and immediately she was like, "I need to call Rae. He probably doesn't know. I need to call Rae and tell him what happened." So she did. And Rae had no genuine reaction. And then he took forever to get up there. Then when he did, he showed up with an entourage and another girlfriend. Come on, bruh.
No.
Come on, bruh.
Bruh, take a drink. What a bruh moment.
When he was up there, he wasn't really excited to learn that Cherica was still alive. Because, I mean, what was the job?
To kill a bitch.
Kill her.
Yep.
And the baby.
Yep. He don't want to pay no child support.
No. So basically the hitman he hired failed because Cherica was still alive.
After 5 shots.
Worst hitman ever. So plus Cherica was a fighter. So there was okay, so when he was up there, he actually learned that the baby, Chancellor, was alive. Mm-hmm. Chancellor was a name that Cherica had picked out because she watched these soap operas growing up, and one of her favorite characters off Young and the Restless, his name was Chancellor.
Yes. I literally, Stephanie, you better be listening because we love some Y&R. We love us some Y&R.
So I guess she watched Young and the Restless and All My Children. I watched All My Children. And so it was either Chandler after Adam Chandler or Chancellor after Chase Chancellor. And they went with Chancellor. So he wasn't happy to find out that Chancellor was still alive. But he did. Shonda was like, "Here's the baby." So that he went to the NICU and he visited baby Chancellor, and that was the last time that he ever saw him. So here's the crazy part. This is how we know Cherica was a fighter. After the surgery, like she lived through the surgery, and she was
Do you know where she was shot? Like where on her body? Like
I know, I just saw like in the hip.
Yeah.
Like it was the lower half. Like it wasn't like I don't know. I just remember one in the hip.
Yeah, I wasn't like yeah. Oh my gosh.
It was life-threatening, so bad that they had to have that emergency C-section.
Yeah.
So, but when she woke up, she was alert enough to be able to write. So the police came in and they were able to answer her questions, and she got to write down her answers. And so one of the questions that they ask is, where was Rae? What would Rae do when this happened? She said, he was in front of me and he stopped his car. And then they started shooting after me, And they said, do you think Rae had something to do with this? And she put a question mark this time. And so she was alert long enough semi-alert long enough to help the police, but she went into a coma. And by this time, she was just existing. She wasn't living. And her mom made the decision to take her off the machines, but not before she got to hold baby Chancellor. So they took Chancellor, and I think this might have been when she was a little bit more alert, put her Chancellor on her chest and like wrapped him up. And she said a tear dripped down. Listen, I cried on this podcast at least 17 times. A tear dripped down, Cherica's, because she wanted to make sure her kid was alive. Like, that's why she fought. She didn't fight for, she was fighting for her kid to be able to be delivered safely. So on December 14th, she was pronounced dead. So
wait, how many days after?
28 days. So she fought for 28 days. So during the time that like the Adams, Cherica's family was at the hospital, what was Rae doing, you think?
He was probably going finding his other side piece.
Yes. And he was panicking, and he was calling and blowing up the hitman's phone. And he was like, say, bruh,
moment.
I hired you to do a job, and you were 0 for 2.
He's pissed.
You were 0 for 2. Yes. And, hey, I'd never hire a hitman, but if I did, like, I'm going to want him to complete his job.
I mean.
So, Rae is an asshole, and so he's pissed, and he's panicking, and they just go off the 911 call, and Cherica's like written statement that she could do, and they triangulate the cell phone. Cell phones are new right here. Like this is my senior year, 1999. I didn't have one then.
Oh my gosh.
But they know how to triangulate it, and they put Rae right there at the crime scene. So he's arrested for, I think, attempted murder. He's the
conspiracy to commit murder.
Conspiracy to commit the first arrest. No, yeah,
that's what he got.
Ultimately.
Yeah,
ultimately. So, but the first charge, I don't think it was like murder because nobody was dead yet.
Oh,
so it was like attempted murder.
Yeah. But did he get it, or did the
hitman? They all eventually got put in jail. So he had a $3 million bond, and so he posted bond. I mean, he had a good bail bondsman. But he had to post a lot of money.
10% of that, which I don't
like
do math, so I don't know what that is.
But
math statements.
So
taxes,
words, math. He spent 11 days in jail, right?
Yeah.
And he posted bond, but there was a contingency thing that he had to write that if Chancellor or Cherica died, he'd have to turn himself in because now it's a murder case. Oh, so that first initial was like attempted murder, I think is what it was. And so he's the first NFL athlete to ever have this charge because remember, OJ didn't.
He got it. If the glove doesn't fit,
you must
quit.
Rae fled because he panicked. He was supposed to turn himself in, but instead he was like, oh, hell no. So there was a manhunt. And what he didn't know is that his friend, Kennedy, was already at the station, and he was telling everything. Like he was singing like a canary. Mm-hmm. They found Hitman Watkins, at a hotel. Because he ordered pizza at 2 a.m. They were like, wait, what's this dude being up at 2 a.m?
Yeah, he's hungry.
Caught him. He came in peacefully to the station. Now Hitman is talking because he's like, they are not going to put this all on me. It's not just me. Mm-hmm. He's like big and bad and like tough. So he sang like a canary. And so what was crazy is the police said Kennedy's and Hitman's story linked up perfectly.
What?
But Rae's was a little different. What would he say when they got him? But he's still he's gone. So there's a manhunt. He panicked. He takes off and he tells his friend named Whitney Cole who's about to move to California because she's going to go to beauty school. And he was like, take me with you, take me with you, take me with you.
But he was.
And so she said, okay, well, let's go. So he crawled his ass into the trunk of her Toyota Camry.
Oh, yes, I do. It, of course, it's in a Toyota Camry.
Crawled his ass in the trunk of her Toyota Camry with cash, Gatorade, protein bars, his cell phone, and a bunch of clothes. Like, he didn't even pack a suitcase. He just threw a bunch of clothes in there.
He's like, priorities.
She drove straight for 500 miles.
So she was like,
she thought she was being a friend.
How? Like, she was like, oh.
Bitch, that's aiding and abetting.
Yeah, because she's like, oh, why? I mean, he obviously is getting your trunk.
Yeah.
So,
clearly,
sus.
It's a little sus. Yeah. And it took her 500 miles to realize.
If I had somebody come and be like, how can I get in your trunk so I can drive them out? Because I just murdered somebody.
So we can drive across states.
Yeah, I'd be like, I don't, excuse me, what?
Excuse me,
no, I'm going to go.
So they drive about 500 miles and she couldn't take it anymore. So they pulled over into a Best Western in Tennessee. She went into the room and Rae did not even get out and go into the room with him. Like, he stayed his ass in the trunk. He was peeing in empty bottles.
Oh, yeah, that's what I read. First
of
all, I would literally die if that's
suffocate.
Number one fear. What's your scariest fear? Mine is to be in a small. I'm claustrophobic.
Yeah, me too. I'd flip out. I'd flip out.
Would you rather drown or be claustrophobic?
I'd rather be burned up than any of them.
You would rather be burnt on a stake?
Than drowned or kept in a small box.
Burnt on the stake?
I don't give a shit. Just don't put me in a small box and don't drown me.
I was stuck in an elevator one time.
And you flipped out?
No, but it was real bad. I felt like I couldn't breathe. But anyway, I just had to tell you that because it's real bad.
So Cole, while she's sitting in the room, she's feeling a little guilty and she's kind of panicking. And she's like, I love him, he's my friend, but I'm not about aiding and abetting. So she called Rae's mama, and Rae's mama was like, okay, I'm glad he's safe. Tell me where you are. She calls the bondsman because they want their money. So she says, he's here. She thought if she called the police that Rae could get killed, right? Because he's on a manhunt. He's a murderer. They may shoot first, ask questions later. So she called the bondsman, and then the bondsman called the police. So the police ended up showing up anyways. Let me tell you, Steve Harvey, amazing comedian.
I love Steve Harvey.
Rae Carruth was the butt of many jokes. He got his ass high-sided on for how he thought he was fleeing the police. And so at the end of this, I'm going to play this. So just stay tuned for that. But he hopped his ass in the damn truck.
Maybe that's only for that Patreon.
So they called. Okay, so police came and they found Cole. And they finally got out of Cole where Rae was. So they went to the trunk and they were like, Rae's may be in the position to where he can kill himself. We need to talk him through. Or he may have a weapon. So he's either going to kill himself or maybe he can shoot at us. So he got cops all around the trunk. He had somebody get under the car and pop the trunk because this is 99. There's not a clicker where you push the clicker and it pops up. You got to put your key in there and twist it open for the trunk.
But is that how cars are? Or do cars that have the pop? I mean, I have
this
an SUV.
Is 1999. Yeah. So now you just press a button, clicker, and it opens up.
Yeah.
Or you can open it up from the inside, but not back then. They had to actually put a key in, turn it, and open it up. So they're talking to him and they're telling him, we're here. We got our guns. Come, as soon as we pop the trunk, put your hands up. Well, Rae's a little bit of chicken shit. And so as soon as it like opened like inch, his hands like popped right out of there because he knew he could probably get shot like if he didn't. Hands popped out. When they opened up the trunk, his pants were down around his ankles. He had bottles of urine, bottles of like Gatorade, the protein, cash on him, all these clothes. He had been in the car for hours. It was like 23 hours or something like that. Can you imagine just being in the trunk that long?
No, and no. So did he like pee on himself or like
he peed in a bottle? He just had his pants down from when he peed. He just peed in a bottle, close it, and then throw it next to him.
I can't. But like she stopped. Like he could have gotten out.
He didn't want to. He was scared.
He just didn't want to.
Yeah, he didn't want to.
But like she was driving, and he could have like. I'm sure they like took a break or something. No,
he was scared. Oh, they might have took a break. She might have stopped and peed, but he didn't get out. He peed in his bottles in his trunk. So,
did he have CTE? He got the head injury.
Well, he ain't dead, so we don't know.
I know he's still alive.
Yeah,
I know.
So okay, he was curled up in the fetal position, and they found him that way. He was very compliant when they got him out.
I bet he was.
He was compliant. They pulled his pants up for him. They arrested him. And he was very like eloquent and very respectful. And he went with them very compliantly. They let him call his mom and tell his mom that he's safe. They bought him a chicken sandwich. They wanted him to talk. So they were just kind of like.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And here's the thing, like respect should get respect. Like he was very compliant and respectful, so they were doing the same thing. And so he was hungry, he got what he wanted. 3 days after he was caught, Cherica had her funeral, and it was humongous. There was over 1,000 people there. So imagine at the age of 42, I'm 40 and I'm 40? I'm 40.
Oh my gosh.
My kid is about to be 20, and I could still like drown him because I don't have the nerves, right? She's now having to raise a baby with special needs.
Who is?
Mama, Shonda. Cherica's
her,
mama.
Yeah.
Okay, Shonda, Mama Shonda. So at age 42, she's raising the baby that lives.
My mom had my younger sister at 42.
Oh, usually when you're older like that, like there's better chances for disability.
Well, she is the smartest one of all of us.
They need to have a Discovery Channel.
Well, Catherine needs to be on the Discovery Channel because she's real smart and she's like all the things. And
oh my goodness,
she teaches me all kinds of stuff.
I thought you were the one that was born at 42, so I thought maybe.
That's what explains it. No, I was born at a normal age. I'm just special.
What is crazy is like Miss Shonda, Cherica's mom, was so very grateful and blessed, like to raise Chancellor for her daughter.
Takes a special person.
It does. So, okay.
My sister who had cerebral palsy, she was in a rest home the whole time. She couldn't talk.
Yeah. He has speech. Yeah, he can speak.
No, she was bedridden. Mm-hmm. She was bedridden. She was like fed through her belly button. She like was MR, like completely like. Yeah.
Now it's ID. We say intellectual disability instead of mental retardation. But once apprehended, Rae is telling his story.
Yeah.
His story, he says he was there on the crime scene, but he had no idea what was going to happen. That Watkins and Kennedy were pissed at him because he was supposed to fund this big drug deal, and he backed out. So they shot Cherica in retaliation for him reneging on them, basically.
Oh, no.
It's a believable story.
Yeah.
And so it was retaliation and revenge, and that he fled because he was scared, and he thought if he stayed, he would be next. But motherfucker, bruh, why didn't you call 911 as you were fleeing? Why was there only one 911 call, and that was Cherica, if he was so scared? So this was his defense attorney's story, and they tried to create reasonable doubt with this. But it didn't work. By this time, finally, the Carolina Panthers cut his ass off. What I love is they were loyal through. Like, he had been in jail, he had the charges. Like, they didn't cut ties like immediately. They were gonna like let him have his day in court, but when he like fled, made him look guilty, so they like canceled his contract, cut him off, no longer associated with Rae Carruth. So Ann Watkins made a plea deal, and they were gonna testify of what happened, and they could only get second-degree murder, because this is like a death penalty case. They were saving their ass, and they were telling the truth. Rae was like, I'm going to have my day in court. I'm pleading not guilty. So while this trial was going on, when it started, Rae was worth like $364,000. By the end, he was declared indigent, like poor, basically homeless, because it ran through all his money. He only had like a couple $1,000s left, and so he couldn't even fund his lawyers anymore.
Oh, no.
They picked a jury. The jury was made up of 7 men, 5 women. 9 of them were white, and 3 of them were black, but there were no black men. So every time, you know, like the jury pool, like one side can like take off the other side, like if they think it's going to be not fair. So there are no black men, but it was a very fair jury. They played that 911 call, like first thing, opening statements, 911 call, the 12-minute long one. Then they showed pictures of her drawings that she did, like her answers that she wrote down and the responses. And by the end of that call, the jury was in tears. But they still had a long road. Like, you still have to hear the whole case. That was just like the beginning. So Kennedy took the stand first, and he told it all. He said Rae told him exactly what he wanted to do, what his motive was. Watkins took the stand, and he was real scary, but he told it all. And then even Amber Turner, which is the girl that he made had an abortion, like when he first signed on to the NFL, she took the stand, and she said that she was pressured to terminate the pregnancy, and that Rae told her, quote unquote, "You better get it done or I'll have someone kill you. You know I will. You can't have that baby." So this has been in his heart for a long time.
Why is he so obsessed with having his pregnant wife's babies killed?
He's just so selfish. He don't want to pay anybody any money on a kid that he made. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah, he is.
So court was going on. His teammates in the locker room could like barely practice right. They were watching court TV in the locker room, and when they took the stands, and he had a couple people like still on his side, like his old high school football coach came and testified. His former teammates came and testified on his behalf, because all they know is Rae's a decent guy. Like, he's a loner. He don't engage in these horrible things. We couldn't see, like, they didn't see that in him. It's always the quiet ones, y'all. Always the quiet ones. They were just like, I can't see it. Ultimately, of course, that didn't work. And so after a lot of deliberation, the jury could not agree on convicting him of first-degree murder. He was not guilty on first-degree murder. Even though this was like a premeditated thing. But he was guilty on 3 other charges, and that was discharging a firearm into occupied property, using an estimate with intent to destroy an unborn child, and conspiracy to commit murder. So those were the 3 charges. Basically, he was the mastermind behind the killing, but the jury wasn't okay with saying that he was the killer. Because if he got first-degree murder, he could get the death penalty. And you had people on the jury that were like, I'm not comfortable with that. I'm not comfortable with that.
Like, Shotgun Watkins get the
Hitman.
Watkins get the the big sentence.
He got the biggest sentence, but nobody got death because they did that plea deal to get second-degree murder.
Yeah.
So
Watkins took a second-degree murder plea deal and is eligible in 2046. Okay,
yes.
Go ahead.
So his family right now are they're interviewing. Like the verdict was kind of read, right? And they interviewed the family, and the family was like, my family member, Rae, is basically being punished harshly for the sins of O.J. Simpson.
Oh,
so they took it all the way back to
must
yes.
quit.
So they were thinking the jury, the media, everybody was like, OJ did it. He got away with it. You better not let this guy get away with it.
So nothing is the same.
He was sentenced to 19 years in prison. And, there's the whole conviction part, and then there's the sentencing trial. So at the sentencing trial, Miss Shonda, the mama, she testified at that part of the hearing. And it's just amazing because she had so much grace and so much forgiveness. After the verdict was read, she got all the lawyers, and she got Cherica's family and some of the friends, and they all joined hands, and they prayed for the lawyers, Chancellor, Hitman Watkins, and Rae Carruth and Michael Kennedy. Like, that's how much forgiveness she had in her heart. Like, she wasn't holding anything against them. Even though Cherica was her only child, and she just didn't let that anger and, like, her sadness overcome her. So Brett Watkins was charged with second-degree murder, sentenced to a maximum of 50 years. He won't get out of jail till he's minimum 85 years old. Michael Kennedy was charged in second-degree murder, and he was sentenced to 10 years, and he got out in 2011, and he still lives, like, in that Charlotte area. So he didn't go far. He came back home. Stanley Abraham, which was the innocent one, he pleaded guilty. This is what I think is kind of sad. He pleaded guilty to accessory after the fact, and he went to jail, but he was out like by the next year. So he only did like a year, but he was the innocent one, and everybody knew he was the innocent one. Like, he didn't know anything that was going on until it was about to happen. So maybe they expected him to like run and flee. I don't know, but he got a charge, and that's still on his record. So it still ruined his life. Rae got out in October 2018. He spent 19 years in prison, and he moved to Pennsylvania with a friend, probably a girl that like wrote him the whole time that he was in prison.
Oh, yeah.
And he doesn't go out much. He doesn't see people. He was already a loner. So this just helped him even more. He works from home on his laptop.
What does he even do?
I don't know. Works from home on his laptop. Probably like medical billing.
I'm going to tweet him.
So his last quote in The Observer was, he's a changed man. And he has hopes and dreams like everyone else in his case. But he has one particular hope for his future, and his only desire is for true forgiveness and a genuine opportunity to be part of his son's life.
Oh, that's what I was just about to ask. Does he even see his son? Does his son even want to see him? What's the situation?
Well, his son, intellectually disabled. Like, he knows his dad was like this great football player. Like, Shonda never badmouthed him, and even showed him like clips of his dad. So that's all his son knows. So in 2019, Miss Adams, like the mama, got a check for several thousands of dollars. No note. No return address. They investigated, and they found out it was from Rae. This was his way of maybe trying to, I don't know, like,
how did he even get the
give
money
the olive branch or something. Well, he's been working. He had been working. He had been out about a year. He lives like a low, he don't do a lot. And don't you have money? You make money when you're in prison. Like when they get out, they live with the check.
It's so crazy in prison. Like you get all the, but didn't he like get in like a couple of fights in prison? I don't know. At least that's what I heard on
I don't know.
the podcast. But it wasn't a big deal. It was like he got a couple fights here and there, but it was like at least he's beating up men and not women.
Yeah,
Like, that was a good thing.
So Shonda's response to the letter is, to me, it spoke volumes. I'm truly grateful. And if he never sends another dime to his son, it means that his heart is changing. And she has forgiven him. Her quote is, and other people can probably listen to this quote, you can't hold on to past hurt and regret and unforgiveness. You have to let it go. Only love promotes peace. I love this lady. If she had a church, I would go to it. Only
love promotes peace. So what does that say about what I need to do about my ex?
Let it go.
I've let it go. It's gone.
Let it go.
Except I still do get mail addressed to him.
I don't know what you do about that.
I open that shit and I read it.
Oh, there's a felony. You're going to jail.
Yep, she gone.
Okay, so Chancellor right now. No. Chancellor right now still lives with his mama. I mean, his G-ma. She's the primary caregiver, and she embraces her name. I have the cutest
picture. Have you seen this picture? It's the cutest.
Yeah, I saw them all. We need to post it. Oh, I know. He looks just like his daddy. She says she embraces her name, G-mom, and instead of pitying herself, she feels so blessed to be able to raise Cherica's son and still have a part of her daughter. She said that Cherica was so determined. She was determined not to die. She wanted to get to the hospital and deliver her son. Chancellor has that same fight and determination in him. He has a strong spirit about himself, and she knows that's attributed to Cherica, but also to Rae Carruth. She said, you can't get into the NFL being mediocre. And that determination of not being mediocre is also in Chancellor. So he's got his determination, he's got his athletic ability, and day-to-day tasks that we take for granted, like, is very hard for Chancellor. But he gets it done with that drive and that tenacity. And on June 2021, so just last month, 2 months ago, he walked across the stage. He just started walking at 16 with physical therapy independently, and he got his high school diploma. I know, kids with special needs. This took this story to a whole nother level for me. So he's a high school graduate. And they're living their best life. Like, this podcast that I listened to, it went like through him getting like all these physical therapies and stuff. And he's getting the best of all the services: horse therapy, physical therapy, all the things, water therapy.
What a bruh moment.
She just wants a drink. So there y'all go.
OMG.
If y'all want more on Carruth, go listen to the 6-part series called Carruth, Mr. Chancellor, and of course Miss Shonda.
All the news about your football team ain't been good.
Okay.
You guys, we are done. Episode 1.
Rae Carruth? What the hell was on Rae mind? Hey, look, first of all, just let me say this. I ain't here to talk about guilt or innocence, because that ain't my job. I don't know what he did or whether he did or whatever. All I want to know is, who helped plan the goddamn escape? Was this not the ignorantest shit you ever seen? What was his little punk ass thinking? Goddamn it, normally when you running from the law, you want to get a passport. Go to Canada, Brazil, Mexico. No, not Ray. Ray took his ass to Nashville. What Nashville, about 200 miles? In a damn car. What is your ignorant ass thinking about? Do you know who looking for you, Ray? The FBI. Go to no goddamn Nashville. Like they ain't gonna spot your black ass in Nashville. And where did this little retarded son bitch try to hide? In the goddamn trunk. But I know y'all couldn't even believe that shit. Y'all had to be back in Charlotte going, I know good and well this motherfucker ain't in this trunk. I bet when they open, I bet the son bitch better not be in that trunk. That little motherfucker is in the goddamn trunk. Get your black ass out that trunk. I see some of y'all ain't laughing. You kiss my ass, that's fine. Ain't no need to get mad at me, goddammit. I ain't shot nobody. You know, I'm all for uplifting black people, but goddammit, there's some shit you ain't got no business doing. Now somebody gone cause your ass done tripped. Ray little retarded ass. As a little boy, he had to be the stupidest son bitch to ever play hide and go seek. This motherfucker just gonna stand on the other side of the tree. Ray, ain't you gonna hide? I'm already high.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.
Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hey, I'm Zach.
And I'm Mike.
And we have a fantastic new podcast to tell you about. Bros, Foes, and Heroes. It's the two of us looking into the world of comics, breaking down some characters that you may have never heard of, and some that are just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so Zach comes up with a character each time, and I go into it just completely blind. I don't know who this person is or what their abilities are or anything, and basically I guess we kind of go over their origin story and just some of the ridiculous stuff that maybe, especially Golden Age stuff.
Oh, Golden Age stuff is always the best, and we will make sure to highlight all of the shenanigans and just absolute weirdness of everything.
Yeah, that's right. So subscribe today and follow us on Instagram at Bros, Foes, Heroes.
And if you don't, I know where you live. Not really, but please subscribe.
Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hi, I'm Hank. You might remember me from a show called King of the Hill. Check out a King of the Hill rewatch podcast. These boys ain't rap, but they are funny. Find the podcast anywhere you get your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com. I tell you what.